By the end of World War II, most of Europe was in ruins. Many major cities, including Warsaw, Rotterdam and Berlin, were destroyed. U.S. Secretary of State George Marshall proposed to restore Europe with the help of American investments. His plan freed states from currency and customs barriers, helped to modernize the economy and create a single European market. More than half a century later, Europe itself is ready to develop a Marshall Plan for Ukraine.
We also want the restoration of Ukraine to become such a global political project. It will have to show that, look, the people who fought for democracy, with the help of the international community, they won this war, and now, together with the international community, they are defending a new life.
On the one hand, Ukraine is already receiving grants, loans, military equipment, ammunition as assistance from the allies. But on the other hand, the leaders of some Western countries, experts say, still prefer not to talk about Ukraine's victory because they are afraid of spoiling relations with Russia.
This is a very, very dangerous development because, even if some governments don't want to talk about Ukrainian victory, you should talk about sustainable peace. And sustainable peace is not where you have a contact line running through the entire country, where everybody knows that in 5 years the Russians will rearm and try that again, where everybody that earns on this money that the EU then spends on Ukraine will try to get it and invest it somewhere in Berlin or Vienna, because you don't know what's going to happen in 5 years.
However, Kyiv is confident in its victory and is making plans for a post-war revival. Back in the summer, the government launched the register of damaged and destroyed property. Everyone whose house was damaged by the actions of the Russian army can enter their data. Now authorities want to digitize the register.
Officials who provide documents, even law enforcement agencies that check certain procedures, general contractors, designers, investors and customers all work in an electronic system. All project documentation, all expertise, everything is there.
The experts explain that post-war reconstruction must be planned, taking into account the new challenges. Ukraine must clearly determine which enterprises need to be restored, which need to be modernized, and which specialists, including those from abroad, need to be attracted.
If we are talking about economic recovery, it does not mean the restoration of what we had on a one-to-one scale. We had 20 factories, we restored them all. So if we are talking about the restoration of enterprises, we must think whether it will be the traditional technology or whether this enterprise will produce everything that it produced before the war, but on the basis of new technology.
Experts predict that high-tech industries will most likely develop in Ukraine after the war.
We will also develop service sectors, in particular the IT sector, other service sectors, such as administrative and consulting, and of course it is necessary to develop the field of knowledge, education to improve the quality of medical care. That is, the economy will move in the direction where it has already moved, from industry to the service sector. Obviously, this transition will accelerate.
Ukraine needs $1 trillion on reconstruction. At least this figure was announced by President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. He also stated that the elimination of the consequences of shelling and the repair of critical infrastructure are being carried out daily, including after the deoccupation of the territories. Therefore, he urges businessmen to plan investments now without waiting for victory. Reported by Roman Smoler, Faina Vasilenko, UATV News.